Welcome back. You can talk with us, ask your questions if you call 0808 054 2233. That's 0808 054 2233. And of course, you can tweet at CTV_Mary A while we continue to talk about the bad bite. We were talking about an open mouth after the teeth have been closed. Yeah. I don't know how to put it.
An open bite. Calling an open bite. An anti-open bite, yes. And so I said that oral habits, digit sucking is a very common cause of it that persists for a very long time into beyond the early age of 4 years. Up to 4 years, we say it's acceptable that child digit for sucking the finger or the thumb in a child up to about age 4, we're not too worried. When it goes beyond the age of 4, we start to get worried because if it persists for a long period of time, it will have negative effects on the way the teeth look. One of which, or prominent of which, among which is the gap between the top and the bottom teeth.
After the teeth have been closed. So, of course, that would affect chewing.
Oh, it will affect function, it will affect speech, it will affect the patient's appearance. So it has a lot of negative effects.
I wanted to ask, by the time you fitted a patient with braces,
yes.
I mean, there are these wires running through, brackets on top of the teeth. Yeah. How does the person get to brush the teeth clean?
Yeah, the interesting thing about having braces is that you can actually brush your teeth just like the regular patient does. It's just that you brush
without thinking about it.
Well, you will make a conscious effort. The major difference is the frequency. We expect that if you have braces on, we say ideally you should brush your teeth after every meal. And so while we advocate as dentists in general to brush twice a day, orthodontists go a step further to tell their patients that to try to brush after every meal, because ideally it's understandable that particles will get stuck in between the braces, and so you don't want...
Can they floss?
They can floss, and we even have incidental brushes that they can use apart from the regular brush. So there are a wide variety of options for them to use in terms of taking care of their teeth, because hygiene it's very important. Very, very key.
Let's take this call from Afolabi. Hello, Afolabi.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your question?
Yes, I just want to confirm if the gentleman, the doctor, is making any suggestion on bad breath.
No, we're not doing bad breath today, but brushing the teeth will help with bad breath.
Very true.
Bad breath is a totally different thing, and we'll talk about that some other time. Thank you, Afolabi. So, how long would you expect a patient to wear these braces for there to be results?
Well, that's a very good question. The interesting thing is that it really varies. It varies based on the complexity, the problem we're trying to correct, the age of the patient, and the level of cooperation received from the patient, because one of the things that's required is that the patient has to come in periodically, particularly if you have a fixed plans.
Is that all the patient has to do as per cooperation?
No, that's not all. There's the attendance, then there's the hygiene, and then there are some dietary restrictions. So we've talked about hygiene a lot, the fact that the patient has to brush after every meal. We talked about dietary restrictions. There are some
types of foods the person shouldn't take.
Yes, so very hard food. Because we have attached things to the teeth, we don't want the patient to take things like maybe like popcorn.
I can guess. Bones.
Yes, very hard bone. Yes, so we say eat the flesh of the chicken, leave the bone. No stockfish. Avoid candies and sweets. Anything that will really be very hard that could knock off the brackets from the teeth, because that would slow down treatment. For simple cases, we can finish in 6 months. And for some complex cases, the average time is actually about 18 months, 12 to 18 months. But for complex cases, may last 30 months or even longer.
I imagine some of those braces could be uncomfortable. Is there provision for the patient to take them off, take a break?
Well, they are fixed. And so you can't, once they are fixed in the mouth, there are different types. There are removable braces, though, that you can take out and put. But like the picture we saw earlier, it's fixed. So the patient can't take them off. But the interesting thing and the good thing, though, is that patients get used to them very early in treatment, both children and adults.
But are they painful?
Putting them on is not painful. The first few days after you get them, there's some mild discomfort because of the pressure from the wire acting on the brackets, because the wire exerts force on the brackets and to move the teeth. So there's that initial discomfort that disappears after about 7 to 10 days.
There's one third thing, though, that perhaps you don't put in every patient, but I saw on somebody. It's like some rubber band or elastic joining the top braces to the bottom braces. What's that for?
Well, we call them elastics. And there are some patients, the thing about...
Let's talk about that right after Chichi's call.
Okay.
We can't keep Chichi waiting. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your question?
Okay. My baby is about 3 months old and his gum is itching him. So, and I'm also doing this baby-friendly thing. So my question is, what do I give to him?
Okay. The baby-friendly thing is exclusive breastfeeding.
Yes.
So this itching, does it have anything to do with teeth coming out or anything like that?
No, at 3 months,
3 months,
no.
Okay.
I don't think such things will resolve on their own with time.
Should she go to the hospital for this?
If it persists. If it persists and it becomes a cause of worry, if it lasts longer than this period she's complaining about, then she should go to the hospital. So we could look to see if there are any other causes.
Okay, yes. We were talking about, what were we talking about? The elastic.
Yeah. The interesting thing is that when you have braces on, there are a number of things that the orthodontist uses in trying to align the teeth together.
Okay.
And one thing that we very commonly use are the elastics. Sometimes...
Is that all the time?
Not all the time. It's not all patients that require elastics. Some patients will, some patients won't. And the thing about elastics is that they are put on, the orthodontist shows the patient how to wear them, and then the patient changes them, puts them on as has been instructed by the orthodontist.
Okay.
So sometimes normally you have to change them daily, and they have a function of trying to align or correct a defect in the teeth. They exert a particular type of force. So they are often worn in a particular way, and you expect the patient to wear them, to change them regularly on a daily basis. So you give the patient a stock to last in between visits. The main issue is that sometimes patients, compliance or cooperation from patients is key here, because you're not with the patients all the time. So we encourage patients that when you're asked to wear them, you wear them all the time so that we can get the desired results and treatment to be shorter.
Now, let's talk about the practitioner now. I'm concerned about brushing the teeth with braces on.
Okay.
Do you pay special attention to the health of the teeth? Because if things get stuck in there and the person doesn't know things are getting stuck in there, maybe they're doing their regular brushing, at least they should be able to be told by a professional that, look, everything is okay, all's right with your teeth, or you're beginning to get caries.
Very good. You know, one of the key things that may cause us to discontinue orthodontic treatment, or one of the few things that may cause an orthodontist to discontinue orthodontic treatment for a patient, is very poor oral hygiene. Because the first thing is do no evil, do no harm. When we realize that, and that's often as a result of the patient not taking appropriate home care, when we realize that you're not brushing properly, your gums are inflamed and all that, then we constantly reinforce oral hygiene. So while you have braces on, for some patients, it might be at a few months interval, they have scaling and polishing to get rid of those things that they cannot get rid of while brushing. And each visit, they get to, when the wires have been taken off, they get to brush. So oral hygiene is very key, because we know that while you have braces on or receiving any type of orthodontic,
the purpose is defeated.
The purpose, exactly.
Let's take this call from Tommy. Hello, Tommy.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine, when he's brushing,
we can hear you, Tommy. Go on.
When he's brushing, blood comes out from his gums. I don't know if it's something.
Okay. What's responsible for that?
It's gingivitis. His gums are inflamed, and
does that have anything to do with the placement of the teeth, the space, alignment?
Well, yes, they actually have some relationship. Gingivitis as a whole, every human being at some point in time or the other will suffer some transient form of inflammation of the gums, which is when you see the blood. But when it persists, it's a sign that all is not right with your teeth, that you need to go to see your dentist for scaling and polishing. Now, people who have crowded teeth...
hang on. Gingivitis, scaling and polishing?
Gingivitis associated with... when you see bleeding, when your gums are bleeding, it means that there's been a lot of what we call dirt. We actually call it plaque around the teeth. Okay. And that the gums are responding to that dirt, and that's why they are inflamed. Okay. And so when you brush, the blood that you see is often because the gums are inflamed. But people who have crowded teeth tend to have even more of that. which is the reason why we say that, like your introduction said, that malocclusion may cause, so people who have crowded teeth, badly arranged teeth, because even when they brush, they can't get to brush all the teeth properly.
And so there's more plaque.
There's more plaque.
We've got to go on a break. When we come back, we continue. Okay. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.